Police begin manhunt for 11 juveniles. Power provider not looking to coal for now. And nominations now open for sports awards.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Tuesday's news. Police and correctional officers in East New Britain Province have begun a manhunt for 11 juveniles who broke out of Kerevat prison in the early hours of Sunday morning. A joint operation was launched yesterday and will continue until all 11 inmates are recaptured. The breakout is the first reported this year from a corrections facility in the country.
A manhunt was launched yesterday to recapture the 11 juveniles. Police and correctional officers know where they are from, where they live, but the problem is they don't know where they are now.
Most of them are remandees. 10 remandees, one serving his convicted and serving his sentence.
Earlier today, East New Britain Provincial Police Commander Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali sounded a warning to communities in the province to alert the police if they are sighted.
As I speak today, no one has been recaptured. 11 still on the run. And I'm appealing to the people of East New Britain Province to keep an eye, look out. If they are sighted anywhere, please get in touch with the nearest police station.
This isn't the first time a jailbreak has happened at this prison facility. In 2017, 32 inmates escaped from the prison. All of them were recaptured a few weeks later. But the head of the East New Britain Police says they are facing another problem that may cause a delay in the hunt to recapture the escapees.
I am down with fuel. There is no fuel for me for my members to operate. I'm asking the people of East New Britain, the provincial government and the provincial administration to assist wherever possible in resources like fuel. And I need logistic support to conduct this special operation.
The recent jailbreak isn't the first and won't be the last. Kerevat is the only prison that serves East New Britain Province, but the prisoners who were sent here come from other parts of the New Guinea Islands region. It's a prison that is facing a shortage of staff and rundown facilities. Kerevat Jail, like any other major jails in Papua New Guinea, has the capacity to hold up to 300 prisoners. But over the years, the numbers of prisoners have increased as the prison's capacity grows smaller. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Chief Secretary to the Autonomous Bougainville Government, Joseph Nobeta, has expressed disappointment over the recent murder of a man in Buka. Justin Sibing from Buin in South Bougainville was found dead in the early hours of Saturday morning. This prompted a large group of people from Buin in South Bougainville to convoy up to Buka, demanding an apology and compensation. EMTV News has since learned that a petition has been presented to the ABG President, Chief John Momis, by people from South Bougainville following the murder. This petition calls for several issues to be addressed, including the immediate and public condemnation of the murder by the ABG, a demand that the police take immediate action and that the suspects be arrested and charged, ensuring that the suspects are brought to justice quickly and that the full weight of the law is applied, as well as committing the ABG to assisting with the cost of funeral arrangements and related expenses and publicly address this issue when the ABG Parliament next meets. The situation in Buka remains tense, with local authorities monitoring the developments closely. With a possible vote of no confidence in the government looming, one man whom the opposition has its eyes on as a potential candidate for the Prime Minister's seat is Sir Peter Ipatas. But the governor himself is pushing debate for provincial MPs to work together to develop Enga province. Sir Peter Ipatas told EMTV News he is focused on developing his province. He addressed the Enga Provincial Assembly at the swearing-in of Wapenamanda MP Rimbing Pato.
Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas has great vision to live to see Enga province fully developed. Sir Peter always says he needs to change his province so that people's perception of Enga can also change. He is concentrating on making Enga province the education and health hub of the country. Sir Peter told the 4 elected MPs and the District Development Authority members to cooperate with the provincial government to develop the province. Sir Peter chaired the Provincial House of Assembly meeting and told the Assembly members of his latest plans, one of which is not to reveal the Barrick New Guinea Limited special mine lease, but to set new terms and conditions for Porgera mine. Provincial members Kandep MP Alfred Manasseh, Lagai Porgera MP Tomait Kapili, Wabek MP Dr. Lino Tom and Wapenamanda MP Rimbing Pato have agreed for new terms to be created. Dr. Lino Tom, as a first-time MP, is focusing on building road infrastructure and connecting rural communities to have access to services. Fasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Minister for Justice and Attorney General Davis Stephen has officially launched a tool that will create, retain and manage the contribution to the body of knowledge in the legal field. Known as the Attorney General's Law Digest, this publication will create an avenue where lawyers within the department are encouraged to write and contribute ideas about the different areas of law that they deal with.
An initiative of the Minister for Justice and Attorney General, Stephen Davis, the Attorney General's Law Digest will be used as a tool to create, retain and manage knowledge and capacity development.
We hope that this tool will be used by you, that you can be able to become more knowledgeable about your rights, begin to know about a lot of the issues that cannot be readily available to you. So you can also prepare yourselves when you come to court on a particular matter.
The value and impact of an organization depends on how best knowledge is created.
The idea is that we want to create 3 sections of the journal. The first one, we would like to open it up to policy discussions. So basically, legal policy. A lot of our people are looking for advice. They're looking for technical assistance in very important legal subjects. Now they cannot access this at all because they are stored up in the government departments. Lawyers do all those work and then the files are locked away. And so rarely do we get to know about what are those key important legal elements and legal principles. And so we are now going to give that opportunity to the lawyers to publish.
This initiative also promotes a culture of writing and critical analysis amongst lawyers within the department.
Books are our tools of read. You cannot achieve knowledge without those books. Yeah, you can have it through life experiences and all that, but books are very important in our lives today. And I think as lawyers, you and I know the importance of books.
The first volume of the Attorney General's Law Digest will be published in July. It will be a first for Papua New Guinea. Lilian Sopera Kinea, National EMTV News.
Police will support the Electoral Commission's decision to hold the recount of the Simbu regional seat in Goroka. Police Commissioner Gary Baki said this is based on the decision of the court and consideration time factor. Mr. Baki assured 3 mobile squads from the National Police Headquarters will be sent to strengthen security. The recount was planned to begin yesterday and is expected to be completed in 50 days using electronic verification of ballot papers. The Electoral Commission will seek extension of the deadline of February 8 for the return of results to the court for verification. Not looking to coal is PNG Power's statement on the issue of coal as a source of electricity for the country. This comes after an Australian-based company, Mayur Resources, have pushed the idea of a coal mine and a coal-powered station. Meanwhile, Northern Governor Gary Juffa has added to the debate, saying PNG has more renewable options than most other countries and coal should never be considered as one of them, regardless of how cheap it is.
PNG Power Acting Managing Director Caroline Blacklock, commenting on the proposal of coal, says that PNG Power is looking more towards renewable energy.
I don't think that strategically it also fits with PNG Power's plans. Our plans are clearly that we want distributed hydropower around the Ramu grid. We want to ensure that renewable technologies, as they become available at a cheaper cost, are what we are able to take advantage of. I don't think that it's necessarily a generation reason why we have power challenges in the Ramu grid. So if it was we needed emergency generation power, there are other solutions that we can do for that. I think that this is a very odd way of promoting a project, which is, to me, not absolutely needed, seems to be very politically motivated.
Mayor Resources had submitted a power purchase agreement proposal to PNG Power.
We've done that. We've put a detailed power purchase agreement in place. As we know, there's been some changes in PNG Power that have occurred, management and the board, etc., and they're going through that. Ultimately, PNG Power's board and management need to assess that in accord with their request. And once they've assessed that, they then compare that with their other options. And their other options will look at reliability, least cost, and also the environmental side of things as well. So we believe we've been able to tick all of those off. So PNG Power, it's in their court now to assess the project.
The Minister for Energy, Sam Basil, an open supporter of the coal power station, has publicly said the ball was now in PNG Power's corner.
The issue of license being given to Maya Resources is up between the PNG Power Board and of course the developer themselves. But
with PNG Power wary of the idea of a coal power station, what does this mean for Mayo's prospect of a coal power station?
Ensure that we want more players other than PNG Power to enter the market so that there will be competition in providing power to our centres in Papua New Guinea. We will invite provincial governments, we will invite landowners, and we will also open up for bigger participation from landowners into project sites, for example, building of hydro dams or setting up a power station. And we've already negotiated some of those to ensure that the hosting province, hosting districts, the landowners must be part of those developments and ventures that people will take or companies will take into establishing energy power generation.
Exact specifics of the touted National Energy Bill have not been given out to the public just yet, as it is still being drafted. The Minister for Energy stating it will allow other energy companies, provincial governments and landowners to enter into agreements to supply energy without approval from the state-owned entity PNG Power.
We are accepting this dirty fuel.
Northern Governor Gary Juveniles, who has openly gone against the idea of coal mining and the power station in PNG, says the National Energy Bill needs to be structured properly and should be based on renewable energy.
If I had my way, I would not support this bill. I would say PNG Power remain the exclusive supplier of energy or power in Papua New Guinea. What needs to happen is it needs to be modernized, restructured, rebuilt, overhauled, etc., so that it is an effective, efficient, functioning entity that can do that. Now, failing that, then I would say that PNG-owned businesses be the only companies that are given the authority to have licenses to produce and supply power, and that provincial governments be given the authority to have that license as well so they can generate some income for their provinces. So right now,
the argument for cheaper versus cleaner energy has become the source of a debate that will continue until the National Energy Bill is tabled in Parliament, and even that information is still unclear. Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
Connecting rural communities will be PNG Power's aim for 2019. With the national government embarking on a major power project from APEC countries, electricity services are hoped to reach some of PNG's most rugged inland communities. PL Acting Managing Director Caroline Blacklock says a main power source must be established in district headquarters with connections back onto the urban grid.
According to a report published in late 2018, only 65% of PNG communities are connected to electricity. However, the source is unreliable and expensive. Despite much public criticism, state-owned entity PNG Power Limited has been tasked to light up 7,000 homes by 2020. The head of PPL says the organization is now embarking on connecting rural communities despite challenges it is facing.
This strategy is what we do right around Papua New Guinea. Go to the remote and then infill backwards. I think that works well.
A key structure for connecting rural communities is to empower districts with an operations center. Blacklock says districts must have trained apprentices to monitor and carry out PPL operations.
This year we'll take on around 200 apprentices just to cope with the new wave of electrification. So, make sure young people apply for that.
While there is more focus to rural PNG, Blacklock is concerned with the rate of illegal connections in urban centers. She says 1 in 3 houses are illegally connected, and this is putting a strain on capacity and supply.
We know that in Port Moresby 33% of all electricity is sold for free or stolen. That's 1 in every 3 people in Port Moresby do not pay for electricity. This means that our rural people are disadvantaged. Right? We've got to stop this culture.
Jacob Harvard Jr., National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. It's Tuesday. We go for a break and be back with more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. 17 aid posts out of 36 in Nawai district are not operating because there are no staff. The district health manager, Raming Justin, said this has made it difficult to deliver health services to its rural population. He has called on the national government, the provincial government and the district to quickly sort out its issues and start recruiting staff.
This is the only health center located at Nawai District Headquarters in Boana. It serves more than 2,000 people. The patients with serious conditions are often medevaced by Manalos to be treated at Leisengau Hospital. Nawai District Health Manager Raming Justin said students have graduated from nursing colleges over the years, yet the positions at the aid post are still vacant.
We are saying that we are going to deliver to the people, but we are not when we have the shortage of staff. Also, we do have experienced the drug shortage. But when we have a drug shortage and we don't have the staff at the local areas and the village settings, the aid post, which is the very closest, and the doorstep service, our people still will suffer from health service.
Since all freedom of this land, emi affect him side blow health long, kisim all new blow workman blow health long, maintaining more aid post na.
This has also been a concern in Kabum District. According to a health worker at the Kabum Health Center, Kevin Gablin, the district has up to 37 aid posts. However, 26 of them are vacant, meaning there are no staff. He also said there is a big need for health workers in the Kabum district.
No, the workman people already suffer, already die.
In a response this afternoon, Morbe's Provincial Program Advisor for Health, Micah Yawing, said staff strength for aid posts and health centers are important because services are brought closer to the people. However, funding remains a challenge.
Look at budget in terms of human resource development, and then you look at administration, you look at program, service delivery, and then you look at development projects. So you can see the amount of money we need to have. So those are the challenges. But again, back to the government, back to the health sector, DPM, to make sure that the needs must be met.
Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Ley.
A cancer patient says the financial burden placed on families and relatives is worrying. Rhonda Apes says finding out she has cancer family members and her family members have cancer, the financial burden has become another separate problem for them to cope with. Apes was diagnosed with breast cancer in the middle of last year and had been going through the plight while managing the disease and household. She says the government needs to be quick to bring in the cobalt machine and improve the cancer facility at Leisengau Hospital to help patients.
This is 46-year-old Rhonda Apes. She is a single parent and is living with a youngest daughter who is currently in grade 12. Being a single parent, she lives on a tight budget. Last year, she was told she has breast cancer.
It's a battle you will fight your own. How you find your money, how you go for the treatment, how you do this and that.
She was referred to the Ley International Hospital for CT scans, which cost at least 2,100 kina. At the time, she could not afford to get a CT scan.
At Ley International Hospital, that would cost me about 2,100. For an organ, would cost 700. So that would mean they were going to scan me on my breast, my bones, and my liver. So that would cost me a total of 2,100, which I didn't have that money that time.
For this month alone, she had already spent about 2,000 kina. It is a battle cancer patients and their relatives would have to fight largely on their own.
Plenty family, like they won't come in, like only when they have the money they will support you.
Rhonda is a patient at the National Cancer Treatment Center and had started a chemotherapy treatment in December 2018. She was advised that surgery can't be done because the cancer is in its advanced stages already. The Parliament has already passed the Radiation Control and Safety Bill, and it is a plea that the government can speed up the process in bringing in equipment for patients like her who need treatment. Martha Lewis, National EMTV News.
The board of one of the biggest schools in Leh City has begun the work of rebuilding the school with very little money. Juveniles Primary was condemned last year. Parents got together to build 6 temporary classrooms in a space of 6 weeks.
This is Juveniles Primary School's current state. All the classrooms that were condemned were demolished during the school holidays. Piles of timber, wires and rusted iron are what now remain of the school's old classrooms. To rebuild these classrooms, the school needs over 1 million kina, an amount the school currently does not have.
At the moment, 24 classrooms have been demolished and we needed 24 classrooms out so that we will continue to have the same number of classes again to continue on our teaching.
I'm encouraging the parents to pay the 300 kina approved by the PEB to put aside, and then we can go and talk to the provincial government for further funding for another one.
In April last year, 6 4-in-1 classroom buildings at Huonville were condemned by the PNG Fire Service, the Health Department and Building Board for not being structurally safe. More than 1,800 students were affected and forced out of class because of this. The Huonville Primary School is one of Leh's biggest schools. The classrooms that were condemned were used since the school's establishment in the 1960s. Over the last 20 years, there was not much maintenance done to the buildings.
Came to an arrangement and an agreement that the building materials that are removed from these older buildings over here are utilized over there for the 6-in-1 classroom.
With the support from parents, local business houses and assistance from the governor and district MP, the school managed to build makeshift classrooms for the students last year. 500,000 kina was allocated for the school in this year's provincial budget. The school's head teacher, Willie Villakiva, says the funds will be used for classroom construction when it is received. Despite the challenges the school has, Mr. Villakiva says the school is prepared for the 2019 academic year.
And we will continue to deliver the quality education everybody have been talking about to our students and of course our parents of Juveniles Primary School.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
The Boana Lutheran High School, established in 2002 in Nawai District, Morbe Province, will begin with 4 grade 9 classes for the first time next week. The school's operation has been delayed for 17 years due to incomplete building construction by several contractors hired by the provincial government and the District Development Authority. Since 2002, the school has been allocated almost 5 million kina in total in provincial budgets.
118 grade 8 students from 7 primary schools in Nawai District will begin their grade 9 in these partly complete buildings next week. Nawai District has allocated 900,000 kina this year for the completion of the buildings that include a male and female student dormitory, 8 teachers' houses and the administration office. Boana Lutheran High School principal, who was posted here from Menyamia High School, says there are enough classrooms and teachers to begin classes next week.
Ups and downs is tough as well because something but you start in school. So that would be a big relief for the people of Arab this side, wine this side, because also Karimul Piginini go long. Now I school up where it's distance.
The construction of these buildings began in 2002 when the high school was established. The provincial government and the District Development Authority hired several contractors. However, they haven't completed the construction. According to Morobe provincial budget, since 2002 until 2018, almost 5 million kina was budgeted for Boana Lutheran High School. According to Nawai DDA chairman and MP, there is no proper record of how the money was spent.
Now, contractor must come out and talk straight. Talk straight also. Money, me come to so. DDA, passing good money and giving me the time, was an complete come up.
Nawai district now has two high schools, Boana Lutheran High School in Wine Arab LLG and Nawai Lutheran High School in Nabak. According to the DDA chairman, Nawai Lutheran High School has the potential of becoming a secondary school, but cannot due to limited funding.
Me long high school, Morobe provincial government, he owe him 1.2 million now. Equal distribution of province, 1% education. Now me come up in this school, I come 200,000, me count him go 6. Calculation below me come out was a 1.2. I'm owe him. Me back to talk yet.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Lay.
And still in Nawai district, contractors responsible for building 3 district staff houses through Morobe provincial government's rural housing scheme grant of 1 million kina left without completing the construction 6 years ago. Nawai DDA completed the houses this year with an allocation of 150,000 kina and the provincial government through the house maintenance grant of 100,000 kina last year. The houses were officially opened for use by the Nawai MP Kennedy Wenge. One of the houses will be occupied by the principal of the newly opened Boana High School. Mr. Wenge has called on the officers to serve the people of the district whilst being accommodated in such houses. The houses were built by PNG Forest Industry. Here with National EMTV News, we'll continue with more local stories when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Lingering issues faced by students and parents upon registration at tertiary institutions are compulsory fee structures, tertiary education scholarships and assistance schemes and selections. The Department of Higher Education is calling on all universities to charge TESOS scholarship students according to the type of scholarships awarded to them, inclusive of boarding and lodging fees. This follows the UPNG management's decision yesterday to charge students the full tuition fees for this year.
The Department of Higher Education reassuring students and universities that TESOS funding will come in once universities submit audits and students' performances, with first-year students expected to be the first ones to receive TESOS.
Government budgeted this year 72 million for TESOS. Government allocated already 20 million for this year, for the first year students who were selected. We will allocate once the institution say that's our students, yeah, because the selection is students selected. The institution says we take it, but the students become students when the students turn up physically to the institution, say I am here, please enroll me.
The department says they are aware of the university charging students to pay full or 70% of the compulsory boarding and lodging fees, despite some students being a TESOS scholarship holder.
University of Papua New Guinea has no right, or any institution in our country has no right to demand from parents and students to pay upfront for TESOS and or HECAS scholarship.
Secretary Father Jan Juba stating that scholarships are fully funded annually for students attending tertiary institutions.
It's not the government of Papua New Guinea. The issue here is institutions, because institutions do not provide on time acquittals of students who are eligible for TESOS. Last year we asked them to provide the information, and some of the institutions gave us in October. We needed this information by end of April, so we can advise the government and include it in budget.
With UPNG changing its fee structures yesterday to the 2018 fee structure, many students, parents and former students are concerned that reimbursement of funds is unlikely. DS has said it is something they hope the new UPNG Interim Council can address.
And all the allegations came, and Minister didn't act on allegations. he asked us to get evidence. So we got evidence, and one of them was that students were not refunded even after graduation. The minister made the decision to replace the council and appoint new vice chancellor to address those issues. And we have very capable chancellor and acting vice chancellor, and we have a trust in them, and we believe slowly they will address all those issues.
Adelaide Sirks Kari, National, EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the University of Papua New Guinea welcomed first-year students at the ceremony to mark Orientation Week today. The UPNG management stressed on its role in education and the influence it has on student behavior and the development of essential attitudes to become responsible citizens. Experts in various fields also addressed the students, making them aware of their purpose at the university.
Whilst welcoming UPNG's new intake, Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Kenneth Sumbuk said that UPNG campus has students and staff from various linguistic and cultural backgrounds, and in order to foster peace, students were to adhere to certain guidelines set by the university. Acting Chancellor Jeffrey Kennedy urged students to equip themselves with knowledge and to always stay relevant. Kennedy warned the students to keep away from distractions and too much socialization, but to always be well informed and aware of what is going on in the country and the world. PNG's APAC Ambassador Ivan Pomeliu shared with the new students, management and staff of UPNG a brief review of APAC and PNG as an host economy. He advised the students that even if education is a universal right, being selected into a tertiary institution like UPNG must be seen as a privilege. Mr. Pomeli also encouraged the students to strive towards getting a degree and to also be economical. The Orientation Week program will continue till Wednesday and registrations will commence on Thursday. Isaiah Tare, National EMTV News.
Here with Tuesday's news, we go for a break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The 27th SP Sports Awards are now expecting nominations in 11 categories for the 2019 awards. The awards were launched today and the public is encouraged to nominate their sports icons and teams who did well in 2018.
It's that time of the year again, where the public gets to nominate and vote for their favorite and outstanding athletes. It's the 27th SP Sports Awards, and those who excelled in 2018 have the chance to be recognized. Nominations for the 27th year of the awards were launched today at the Brew Kettle SP Brewery head office in Port Moresby.
27 years is a long time and reflects South Pacific Brewery's commitment to recognizing Papua New Guinea elite athletes. Of course, our partnerships with the PNG Olympic Committee and PNG Sports Foundation has enabled us to deliver these magnificent events over such a long period.
11 categories in total again for the year: Male Athlete of the Year, Female Athlete of the Year, Team of the Year, Community Sports Initiative Award, Junior Male Athlete of the Year, Junior Female Athlete of the Year, National Performance of the Year, Best Sports Person with a Disability, Sports Official of the Year, Sports Media Award, and Sports Photo of the Year. There is also the People's Choice Award, which is open to the public to vote using their mobile phones. Voting in that category will be open in April.
And I know that everyone in the room understands that sport is much more than just a game. It is full of life lessons. It can teach you or teach our athletes and officials about failure and how to be good losers, about the joys and how to be humble winners, the disappointments that come with it, the excitement, winning and losing. It teaches us maturity, teamwork, humility, and selflessness.
The nomination period will end on the 22nd of March 2019. Nomination forms can be downloaded from the PNG Olympic Committee website and dropped at the Olympic Committee office at 4 Mile. Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
To Rugby League now, POM RFL will start its pre-season competition in the 2019 MRDC 9s this weekend for both the men's and women's divisions. The tournament will see 32 men's teams and 16 women's teams take part. POM RFL Administrator Mecca Maino says this year is a very special year for POM RFL as it turns 70.
MRDC has once again committed sponsorship to this year's pre-season competition of the Port Moresby Rugby Football League, which is set to take place this Friday. The tournament will see 32 places for the men's division, with 28 sports to be filled by affiliated clubs and 4 sports to go as invitations to clubs in the Central Province that are looking to be part of the Premier Rugby League competition. Similarly, with 16 sports available in the women's division, 14 will go to POM RFL clubs and 2 remaining sports are to be filled by 2 interested teams from Port Moresby suburban leagues.
For us at Port Moresby Rugby League, it is the pre-season, an event where it prepares the clubs. They put in their players and see who they should register, who they should not register, those kind of things. And then they complete all the medical checks and registration forms and submit it. And then in March, we start the season proper, which is a very, very long, grueling season.
A pre-season event of POM RFL, the MRDC 9s, will run for 6 days before the proper season kicks off in March 2019.
It will start on Friday, the 8th of February. And then we will continue 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And then we'll continue again the following week, Friday the 15th, Saturday the 16th, and Sunday the 17th.
Last year's winner of the MRDC 9s in the men's division was Tarangau, while in the women's division, Royals defeated Paga Panthers. Meanwhile, Maino says this year is a very special year for Port Moresby Rugby League.
Very special thing about this is that the league is playing its 70 years. It's very, very special. So hopefully, as everybody else, rugby league people come and we enjoy their 70 years.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
We'll go for a quick break and be back with more of Trukai Sports after these messages. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. We take a look at Rugby Abroad, and the All Blacks players are flooding back into the Super Rugby teams this week, with a number making appearances in pre-season matches this weekend. One of the stars who could make the World Cup his own later this year has re-entered training with a very clear plan. Rico Ioane is vowing to have a huge 2019.
Super Rugby's rookies and veterans gathered in Auckland today for a relaxed competition launch. Soon after, across town at the Blues, Rico Ioane was flying into his work, running towards the World Cup.
It's hard to shy away from the World Cup, isn't it?
Exactly. So, everyone's game's going to lift, and you just got to hope that you keep up, or if not exceed expectations.
Ioane won't play this weekend, but is available for the Blues from round 1 of Super Rugby next week. The 21-year-old is coming off a rare break after a 4-year whirlwind, which began with international sevens at just 17 and has already extended to 24 test caps on the wing.
Will you play wing full-time for the Blues this year?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I think... I think with the sort of year that's in place, I want to be the best I can in the world at one position. And
so focus on that wing.
Yeah.
Opposition wingers won't like the sound of that or this.
Yeah, there has been a bit of speed work, so hopefully fitter, faster, stronger.
All with the end goal of hitting Japan in September. With Super Rugby a week and a half away, one other man can't wait to play again. Now an All Black after nearly a decade of pro rugby, although 12 months ago, Angus Ta'avao didn't have a full-time Super contract.
Each week you'd sign a little bit of paper saying you're in for another week, a replacement player.
How do you live like that?
Oh, it was tough. I just feel like that's how it's all meant to have worked out. I've grown as a person. My character's been tested.
With plenty more testing challenges ahead as Super Rugby and a certain date in Japan in 7 months start to rocket towards the horizon.
And Angus Tavau's big break was helped by two of the Chiefs All Blacks suffering serious injuries. Nepo Laula and Atu Moli only played 3 Super Rugby matches between them last season, but now they're back, still bearing the visible signs of what they went through.
Well, it looks like a long racing stripe now. A knock to Atu Moli's quad muscle led to major blood clotting. The hematoma so severe, amputation was even mentioned.
When the surgeon was talking to me, he was just saying that could be the worst case scenario. It usually happens in a car accident, these kind of injuries. It's 1 in a million that happen in a rugby games.
The former New Zealand under-20s captain and 2017 end-of-year All Blacks Tour apprentice was helped in his recovery by briefly having fellow prop Nepo Laulala in the next bed to him in Waikato Hospital.
Just keep telling me a few things he went through when he had his injuries.
Not so much the broken arm, but the torn ACL, PCL, MCL and quad muscle, which ruled Laulala out of 2016 and threatened to end his fledgling All Blacks career.
That was my first long-term injury, and sort of knew what Atu was going through because that was his first long-term injury, and it's so easy to get eaten up.
He's bounced back to play 17 tests, and while he's enjoyed being reunited with his apprentice, his front row test partner from 2017, Kane Hames, hasn't been sighted at the Chiefs as he battles back from concussion.
He's still, I think, still having problems.
While 23-year-old Molly is eager for more pre-season game time, Laulala probably isn't too upset about being held back from a balmy Brisbane on Friday.
Just a couple of runs and I felt like my feet were blistering up, and no, it was pretty hot, yeah.
Actually, it's about as warm in the Waikato as Queensland this week.
And that's it for True Kai Sports this evening. We go for a break. When we come back, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Port Moresby, fine although cloudy at times, mostly fine for Daru, Kerama, Alotau and Popondetta. To Momasa region, Ley, fine although cloudy at times, mostly fine for Madang, Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands, mostly fine in Lorengau, a shower or two expected in Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and some showers as well expected in Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, all these major centres can expect cloudy weather with a shower or two expected in Mount Hagen. A look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG, Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samurai Island, and waters of southern PNG, Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point and Samurai Island, seas 3 to 3.5 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Island, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel, Finschhafen, and waters of Manus and its western group of islands to New Island, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Long Island to Madang, waters of Wewak to Vanimo, Aitape and the northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 2.5 to 3 meters, and waters of West New Britain and Bougainville, seas 2 to 3.3 meters. And look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea, seas rough to high seas with northwesterly winds at 34 to 48 knots with stronger gusts reaching 64 knots. Solomon Sea, seas rough to high seas with northwesterly winds at 34 to 48 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas rough with northwesterly winds at 25 to 34 knots. And the Pacific Ocean, seas moderate with northwesterly winds at 15 to 20 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
To end the news, a newly established village resort on New Ireland's west coast is seeking support to grow the tourism industry. The Kokola Rainforest Beach Retreat is an initiative combining the area's tourism and agriculture sectors. While the focus is to be a tourism product, agriculture through cocoa farming, a sustainable forest program, is also carried out at the same time.
This amateur footage captured by a freelancer speaks of the beauty and natural strengths of Kokola, a village along the west coast of Namatanai. Though the retreat is making slow progress with its construction, there is much hype in turning this place into a viable tourism paradise. One significant difference for the Kokola Beach Retreat is its openness to the forest and its habitat.
By looking sila building namin blok-lawak mem sila tirpla main team batasor. Sa may plesa ko lapos pikim steret no kisim na about.
The concept is being adopted from resorts in the Caribbean Sea and the Bahamas, areas which represent the usual luxury resorts with white sand, thatched roofs and coconut trees, and offers different price ranges right down to backpackers. Running parallel with the resort is farming. This is to support locals to supply fresh produce to the resort and also create a sustainable income while the construction phase continues. A major support to back the Kokola Beach Retreat is cocoa farming.
Very thankful to Cocoa Board that they've supplied us with all these things to actually help the community here.
The Kokola Rainforest Beach Retreat is hoping to open for business later this year. Jagla Pava Jr. National EMTV News.
And that ends the news, sport and weather for today, Tuesday, the 5th of February 2019. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.